Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Conversations with the Soul. I'm Rita Hickman, and I'm a body-mind expert and shiatsu massage therapist in the Chicagoland area. So actually, I'm pretty close to the Wisconsin border. I'm in the middle of nowhere. We don't really belong to anybody. Good morning, Kathy. Nice to see you. We don't really belong to anybody, and so it's nice and quiet out here. Good morning, Doug. Nice to see you, too. So this week we've been talking about how to heal anything, and a lot of people get caught in the idea that healing is something that happens to us, that somebody or something that we do, causes us to heal. But we talked about on Monday how in reality your body heals itself. And it heals itself because you tell it that you want it to heal. And you tell it you want it to heal by the choices you make in your environment outside of you and the choices that you make inside of you. So yesterday we talked about things that you can create in your environment that really create an optimal, a really good healing space for and tells your body that you're ready for it to heal. So today we're going to start talking about what's actually going on inside the body, which is so much fun and so exciting. I love talking about these sorts of things, and specifically today we're going to talk about vibrations. So one of the first things we need to be aware of is everything in our body is vibrating, everything, because that vibration, that movement is life. And when we stop, even down to the smallest particle stops vibrating, then it's like a stagnant pool, and it starts to get sick, and then it will fall away and be recycled into something different. So good morning, Janae. How nice to see you. My sister's on. How wonderful. And good morning, Lisa. Great to see you too. So everything in our body is constantly vibrating. And when we vibrate, everything in our body's kind of vibrating in the same wavelength. That's called flow, and that's one way that we end up feeling really good. When things in our body are vibrating at different wavelengths, then it's kind of conflict and jarring, and it comes out in our thoughts. Our thoughts start feeling anxious and confused and jarred and conflicting, and we feel it in our body. Maybe we feel like our skin is crawling, or we have physical issues going on in our body. That's when we're not in tune. When we are in tune, when we are vibrating at the same wavelength as someone next to us or near us, that's a beautiful situation. And in fact, for many healing situations, it's the vibration of the healer, because they spend a lot of time in a good vibration, a healing vibration. It's their vibration which triggers the vibration of the person that they're working with, usually within a few feet. And that's one of the ways that someone can walk into a room or walk into a situation, and the vibration that comes off of them actually triggers the healing vibration in somebody else. So it is possible to heal just by walking into a room. When you spend a lot of time doing that and being in that space, you can help people heal. There's a story of a yoga master who was doing a type of Thai massage. Good morning, Nicole. A type of Thai massage. And he started to work on this woman, and he stopped. He realized he needed to stop, and he sat right next to her. And for the whole hour, he just sat and meditated. And when they were done, she had felt so in tune, so good, just by being in his presence. And so our vibrations trigger positive and attune the vibrations of somebody else. When we are attuned to a whole group of people, the results are thrilling. I've been involved in theater and music most of my life, and when you're able to sing with a choir, or you're able to perform in a play where everybody's in sync, everybody's got that flow going, there's this magic, and it just draws people in. There's a philosopher, I believe it was Nietzsche, who said one of the greatest healing, one of the greatest transformational experiences was a shared experience of drama with someone else. So when we come together and we're in attunement and we feel together, that's what creates miracles you can't even do on your very own. So how do we get these vibrations going in our own body? How do we get ourselves attuned, let's say? There's a wide variety of ways. It's kind of fun. Yesterday we talked about how external things can kind of trigger us, from our environment. Things that we like, beauty, color, texture, stuff that's very sensory. Today we're going to talk about the actual physical vibration. So one of the things that has come into my life is working with tuning forks. Now, tuning forks are working with sound vibration directly onto the body. And so you use tuning forks and they vibrate in different resonances. And you put them on different acupressure points. And what they do is they vibrate your body into a wavelength. And you can attune the body that way. You're like, okay, we're going to get you vibrating, in this, and you vibrating in this, and you vibrating in this, until we create a harmony, a harmonious vibrational experience inside of our body. One of the other things that I love to do is speakers and concerts, live music. When you're in the presence of live music, those sound waves vibrate your body. And they not only attune your cells to the wavelength that you're listening to, but they also vibrate things in your body. They shake things up, which is the really fun part about vibration. They've started to use vibrational therapy for two really major things. One is heart disease, and the other one is dementia and Alzheimer's. They started to use sound waves in order to break up the buildup inside of arteries so that it gets flushed out of the system. So it's vibrational therapy. And they've been using it for Alzheimer's and dementia because one of the causes of that is there's this plaque buildup in the brain. And so they've started to use sound vibrations to break up that plaque and clear it out. So when you actually vibrate the body, and it can be subtle, like with tuning forks. It can be bigger, like with big, speakers or sound waves like that. Or it can be very targeted. It keeps the body really healthy. Now, your body sends off vibrations too, and it talks to each other. We have three main centers. Oh, sorry about that. Hang on. There we go. We have three main centers in our body that really picks up vibrations. We've got the head and face area, we've got the heart, and we've got our gut. And those three areas pick up and feel vibrations pretty much more than anything else does. And so one of the ways we can get attuned is people will put their hand or something on their head as well as their heart, and then something on their gut at the same time. And activating those, getting our body to focus on those parts of our body will activate them. It'll send more blood and lymph to those areas and make them vibrate more. And when they vibrate more, then our heart picks it up and our gut picks it up because they're like antennas. So different parts of our body will also pick up the vibration, the physical measurable vibration of other things going, of other parts of our body. That's a great way to get attuned. They talk about how have a positive, loving thought, send out that wavelength, and activate your heart at the same time. Have your hand on your heart. And those two will come into entrainment. And you'll get attuned and you'll feel that imbalance and in attunement going on, which is a lot of fun. Now, the lymph system is also based on movement and vibration. The lymph system isn't like your heart. Your heart kind of has its own motor. It beats all by itself, but your lymph system needs movement. If you don't move, if you don't walk or vibrate things or get body work done or dance, or be exposed to great sound. If you don't do that, then the lymph starts to back up and stagnate. and we end up starting to feel really achy and swollen, and we start to get sick because it's almost like we're poisoning our own well. So the lymph system needs a lot of movement and a lot of vibration to stay healthy. And so when you vibrate yourself in a wide variety of ways, you end up feeling better because it drains everything. It drains out all the cellular waste. It drains out the chemicals which have been building up. And when you can get your whole body vibrating and moving, then your whole body stays healthy. If you're only doing a part of it, either because of your body mechanics, how you move, or because you're in certain patterns of how you live your life, then parts of you are going to get sick because they're not moving, because they're not vibrating. It's when we have a wide variety of experiences, when we move in a wide variety of ways, when we think and send out a wide variety of wavelengths from our head, and send out a wide variety of wavelengths from our heart and from our gut. When we, the more experiences you can have, the more emotions you can have, the more thoughts you can have, the more physical experiences you have, that is what keeps your body healthy and alive. Oh, Joy says, I like running and listening to music at the same time. And Joy, that's one of my favorite ways of compounding it, because it accumulates, doesn't it? When we've got music and movement, we're vibrating, and they come together and they work together and synergize. I love to walk and listen to music. And one of the things that I play with, which I'm sure everybody laughs at me, is I'll change up how I'm walking. You know, I'll change my dominant leg. I'll move with my right leg as my dominant leg, and then for a while I'll do it with my left leg as my dominant leg. Sometimes I'll swing my arms big, sometimes I won't. I will, when I walk and move, especially around the track, I will play with a wide variety of movements, because I know when I do that, when I don't just get single track minded of I have to do this, I have to get my heart rate up, I have to, finish a mile. My goal isn't this accomplishment of a certain amount of time or a certain speed. My goal is, how can I move my body? How can I vibrate my body with different thoughts, feelings, and physical movements as much as possible? Good morning, Michael. Nice to see you. How can I have as many different physical experiences in my head, my heart, and my gut, preferably at the same time? Because, as we talked about attunement before, when you do something by yourself, when you're in tune, you're in flow, and you can do amazing things. When you're in tune with another person, it amps up, it ramps up the strength of how far the wave can be felt. When you do it with a group of people, when you're in tune with a group of people, it's measurable. The wavelength that comes off of the group that's in tune is measurable even further. They did this wonderful experiment in New York. I think it was 10 years ago now, maybe 15. And they talked about, they brought people together to meditate together. And they wanted to see if that meditation had any effect on the crime rate. And of course, everybody thought they were Looney Tunes. They thought that this is one of the most ridiculous things. Let me stop for a second. Kathy has a question. Do we need to use specifically tuned tuning forks? They don't have to be specifically tuned. Some people will say so, but really just to stay in good health, you can play with a wide variety of them. The rule of thumb for me is not about getting things right, but by doing as many different things as possible. So you want them to be in tune, and so you can find them pretty much everywhere. But once the tuning fork is in tune, you're pretty good. But other than that, if you've got a tuning fork which is designed to be in tune, then it will have a positive effect. And the ones that are stronger, metals that vibrate more cleanly, You know, some of them are designed specifically for healing and for vibrations. You can go with those, and those will have a bigger impact. If you just use, you know, band tuning forks, they don't have the same strength of vibration. And so we were talking about vibration and meditation and vibrating together as a group. So the experiment they did in New York was, we're going to have a large group of people, I think something like 1,000 people, meditate at the same time, attuned to one another, kind of in a group, you know, in a single setting, and see if it affected the crime rate. And, you know, and the cops were against it, and everybody was like, this is crazy, what's wrong with you? It was either New York or Washington, D.C. It was one of the two. And but they said, you know, we're going to give it a shot. So they did. And so everyone meditating on the same compassionate thought wavelength, because remember, every thought that you have has its own unique wavelength that someone else picks up. They might not pick up exactly what you're thinking, but they're picking up the wavelength. So when you've got a group of people meditating on the same concept, tapping into the same part of the mind, you know, because there's a part of your mind that's kind of specialized for compassion, loving kindness. You're meditating, your mind sending off those brain waves, your heart is sending off those same waves, and when everyone's entrained to each other as a group, then those wavelengths can be felt for a very long distance. And so they did this a few different times. The first time they did it and the crime rate went down, it was considered a fluke. But then the next time they did it, the crime rate went down. It was curious. And they continued to do this. They continued to do it where normally, you know, the crime rate would continue to go up, you know, bad weather, you know, all the normal conditions that would cause problems. This counteracted that. The Washington crime rate study. Thank you, Kathy. Kathy reminded me of what it was. Yeah, the Washington crime rate study. And so when we're all attuned together, you know, in a large group of people, focusing on the same concept, on the same thoughts, the same feeling, because as I said, they'll have the same wavelength, then they magnify each other. They bounce off of each other. They attune with each other. And the vibrations can be felt far away. And those vibrations are picked up by other people, and they will entrain to that. They will entrain to that loving kindness vibration. That part of their humanness will activate. You know, I have the rule of thumb or the belief that human beings are all kind of built the same. And we all have the same different parts and pieces. And if we learn how to trigger or activate those parts and pieces, then we can influence how people behave. And so when we come in with that loving kindness or compassionate wavelength, then that will trigger the compassionate wavelength with other people. Now, Lisa says, I love to do yoga and meditation with beautiful music that stirs the soul. Yep, that's another great combination of things. You know, what else you can do is combine it with other sorts of vibrations too. You've got the music, you've got the movement, you can do things having to do with color and light waves. You know, so if you can have a wide variety of colors around, if you can have the light waves so that they're not jarring, so staying away from the fluorescent lights, having more natural lights around you, you know, that will enhance the experience. Doing yoga in a group of people where you're all on the phone, that will enhance the experience, as well as smell. You know, add that to the mix. Add as many different sensory elements to synergize the vibration as possible. So you can take yourself from, okay, I'm having a pretty good experience, to I'm having a good experience, to I'm having a great experience, to I'm having a mind-blowing, out of control, whoever thought this could happen sort of experience. So when these are elements that you can put into place to get your body to vibrate at a really powerful healing level. not just for yourself, because that will keep yourself healed, but to help heal the people in your life, the people in your community, and of course, the people in the world. So the more different elements you can bring into an experience, the better your vibrate will stay healthy. This is how we talk about when you've got prayer groups, or when you've got sports teams, or when you've got any sort of collaboration where we've got people on the same wavelength, in a positive wavelength. So we could get together and have healing groups. Can you even imagine the sorts of power that we could have when we plugged into each other and attuned with each other for a specific thought on healing? And that's where these prayer groups come from. The whole group will focus on one healing thought. And this is where a lot of healing traditions came from, where they would come together in a talking circle, they'd come together in a sacred fire, they'd come together in a sweat lodge, and everyone would be focused, on enhancing this vibration and connecting with one another and sending that vibration out into the world. I think about the story of the Grinch, how all the Who's down in Whoville, they all sang together. They all held hands, and they all sang this beautiful song. And it was that vibration that affected the Grinch and physically affected his heart. I know, it's a cartoon. I don't care. It's a great metaphor based on healing principles. So that vibration physically affected his heart. And because of that, the heart was able to grow. It was able to get life back into it, blood and lymph and nervous system signals, and it came back alive. It stopped shrinking, and it started to get bigger because life was pumped into it. This is what happens when we come together for other people in a loving, healing space, is it pumps life back into things. If we have someone who is sick, if we have someone who is struggling, our tendency, sadly, as a community, is to isolate them and to say, what, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you're on your own, that's too bad. We don't want to be reminded of that pain. We don't want to have their vibration trigger that painful stuff within ourselves. But when we are grounded, when we are in a good space, when we have a strong signal, a strong vibration coming off of us, then when we walk into a room, we direct the energy, and the other people entrain to us. Have you ever had a doctor come into your room and you're trying to get healthy, and the doctor's got a negative attitude, and because they're such a powerful force, we entrain to them and their negativity? This is what happens. We entrain to the strongest fear or the strongest thought that's around. So if we want to do a great job at healing ourselves and helping other people heal, we have to have a very strong vibration coming off of us. We have to cultivate it through our environment. We have to cultivate it through our focus and our attention, and making sure that we take care of ourselves mentally, physically, and emotionally, so that when we walk into the room, we are the strongest vibration. We're the powerhouse. And the people around us entrain to us, because our vibration is stronger than their vibration. And so it raises the level of everything and everyone that's going on. And if you want to help even more, then you get together with someone else who is a healer, and someone else who is a healer, who cultivates this vibration. And then we come together, and people who have been struggling mentally, emotionally, physically, they start to entrain to that new vibration, that vibration of healing. And so what is a healing vibration? A healing vibration is relaxed, loving kindness. It's that compassion. Compassion isn't feeling sorry for someone. Compassion is where you feel things and you're relaxed about it. You see it for what it is, you know what it is, and you feel it. You don't block it in any way. You don't tense up your muscles, you don't tighten up your back, you don't tense up your face. It's an acceptance of what's really going on around you. That is deep, true compassion. And when someone can come in with that relaxed attitude of feeling, then the other person will be able to stay relaxed, and their body can keep healing itself. So about 3 or 4 years ago, I came across a study that talked about the difference between bad stress and good stress. Bad stress is stress that you think is bad. Good stress is stress that you're okay with. So when you think a thought, an idea, a belief, an emotion is negative or bad, you need to get away from it, then your body narrows its blood vessels, it stops the signals, it stops the chemicals, because we don't want to feel it. We want to block it in some way, or defenses come up. And that's harder on our heart, that's harder on our immune system, it's harder on everything when our body is in conflict with a thought, feeling, or idea that's going on inside of us. When we are okay, when we're able to stay relaxed to that stress, to that, even if it feels conflicting, to that difficulty or sadness or anger or frustration, when we can stay open to it and okay with it, then our body feels it, it does what it needs to do, and then it flushes out. And that's the key to true, really big compassion and healing. People walk into my space and they know I'm a healer, because no matter what they bring to me, I can stay okay and comfortable with it. Because I know this is part of the process, this is part of the journey, and there's nothing for them to feel anxious or worried or frustrated about. So even if they do feel anxious or worried or frustrated, it's okay. They're okay, and I'm okay with them. And it's my strong, relaxed, open, compassionate vibration that they then attune to me. They attune to that healing vibration. And their blood vessels open up, their nervous system signals are able to, spark on. Their body is being told that we want you to heal itself. And so people heal when they walk in. They heal when they sit and they talk to me for a while. And then one of the most beautiful things I use in my bodywork piece is I'll do gentle vibrations with people. And they're amazed at how powerful little bits of rocking can do, little bits of vibration can do, or lymph drainage where you just move the skin. They've tried everything that's going to power through, that's going to hit it hard, that's going to, do really good things, powerful, strong, raw things. Thank you. Kathy says that's what happens when I go see you, Rhea. Yeah, exactly. And I do it purposefully. I do it mindfully. People are amazed at the beauty of vibration and subtle vibration and compassionate vibration, that because it opens things up and it tells your body to heal itself. And so then your body will. It will miraculously heal itself. And it's just beautiful. And then the more times you do it, the more times you tell your body to heal itself, either you come see me or you do things internally or externally that tell your body to heal, then your body heals. Now also remember, in many traditions, healing doesn't necessarily mean that the patient survives, that they physically survive. They may still die, because things are sometimes a lot bigger than us. There's a lot more going on than we have control over. But healing in many cultural traditions is when you're also able to, let's say, heal the family, or heal a belief, or heal an emotion, or heal a pattern. So you can heal the generations that are to come, or heal the people that are in the room with the sick person. How many times have we seen or heard people who find this beautiful level of nobility and peace when they're about to pass away? And that has the biggest impact, that loving, compassionate peace that they're able to have because they've accepted what's going to happen, has done miraculous healings on the people around them, on their nurses, on their doctors, on their family, on their friends. That peacefulness and that acceptance, everyone else has then started to resonate with, and their bodies have started to heal, and their relationships have started to heal, and their thoughts and emotions and feelings. So healing happens not just on a physical realm, although Trust me, this stuff happens in a physical realm all the time. That's why I love what I do. But it also happens in the vibration that we give off to each other and in how we heal the world. So that's my message for today. Vibration's really powerful, and we need to start cultivating vibration and becoming attuned within ourselves and attuned with other people and attuned in large groups of people if we want to make a big impact on the world. If we want to stay healthy, we need to do that. And if we want the world to move in a more positive direction, we need to do that too. Because the world does the exact same thing that we do. If we tell it we want it to be sick, all right, we'll be sick. If we tell it that we want it to be healthy, then it starts to move in that healthier, happier direction. So that's that free will. We get to choose what direction we want to go. And if we want things to heal, then we have to start creating healing vibrations. And if we don't, then we, just keep doing what we're doing, and that's okay too, because that's where I come from. That bit of acceptance, that not fighting, that being okay with what is, knowing that it will eventually take us where we need to go. Because we peak and then we valley, and when things get really hard, that's when we break, and that's when transformation comes. And so that's the attitude I'm able to have, of being okay with most everything. However, this is the direction I want to go. I don't fight it, but I influence it and encourage it where I want it to be, very consciously and very mindfully. So I ask you to join me. You bet, Lisa. Thanks for the reminder to you as well, for me as well. And I will see you maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday, because of the whole holiday thing. So Happy New Year. Stay safe. Enjoy yourself. And if you want, enjoy your new year with a really powerful vibration and send it out into the world, because we've got a lot of power that we're not tapping into. I will see you next week. Bye.